Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Strong and Bold. My name is Fortina and today we are going to talk about safe sex. I know when we talk about safe sex, people might consider contraception or might consider prevention, like maybe use of condoms. However, in the way I'm going to talk about sex, I'm going to read from the book of Matthew. So Matthew 5 verse 28 says, I'm reading from the NIV. It says, but I tell you that anyone who looks at a woman, I'm going to add, or a man, lustfully, has already committed adultery with her in his heart. So what does this mean? This means sometimes sex is not just an act of like intercourse. Sex comes from lust comes from thoughts, from seeing things, from seeing someone and you're like, ooh, I can't wait to get that. Oh, ooh, damn, I wish I could be hitting that. Those kind of things. So in the way that I want to talk about safe sex is that having lust, it happens to everybody. But as I said in my previous video, having the power to control those urges, that's where power lies. Having self-control is the greatest form of power that one can have. And this means that if you are able to control your sexual urges by, number one, not being pressured to be doing things that you are not ready for, not doing things because everybody is doing it, and number three, not doing things because you just want to do things. Because remember, if a gift is abused, there's always consequences. And that can look like having children out of wedlock. That can look like unexpected pregnancies. You can be having a child with a married man or a married woman. You can have a child with maybe even with somebody you're not intending to marry. And I'm not saying that have sex because you want to marry or have sex. Look, sometimes people want just have children, and by all means do you. Like you do you, boo. But what I'm saying is that there is consequences. So if you can step back 2 minutes or even 2 seconds before you perform the act and reflect and tell yourself, is this what I want for myself? Is this what I want for my life? And the consequences that can happen tonight, am I ready to bear them? So then you will be making conscious decision if you should have sex or not. Why am I saying this? There are so many people ending up terminating children. I know it's your body, it is your choice, and we all have choices. But remember, decisions have consequences, whether they are good or bad. So for instance, it was a one-night stand, and then you accidentally get that person pregnant, and then you are in a relationship, you are about to be married, you have a wife at home. How is that going to play if you already have children with your wife? So this is creating multiple broken homes. And imagine if you are that child and you know you are conceived outside in that way. How would that child feel? Because they never make any decision in what took that moment that day. But then they are going to bear these consequences of these actions. And it's not fair on these children. It's not fair on those families. It's not fair on that individual. Because this is how we end up having strongholds. Because let's say your father had 3 wives, And then, and you can say in some religious views it's accepted, or some cultures you can have many as you wish, or as you can provide for them, right? But you can never love more than one person. That's lying to yourself. Nobody has a heart big enough to romantically love 4, 5, 6, 8 women, 10 women in one go. That's impossible. That is impossible. So if you want to have sex, by all means, go ahead. But always remember, why are you having sex? Just because of pleasure, commitment, pressure, what's acceptable in the community, or what's acceptable in the culture? Because everybody is doing it. I should do it. We continue circles of all cycles that could end up with us. And we continue procreating the same things that created us. And it is unfortunate to say, if it's not due to the power of lust, I strongly believe that things like not giving consent and people taking away your will, whether you want to have sex or not, it would have never happened. And that's why sometimes when that act has finished, you're like, what was I doing? You get back into your senses. But you give your body for that pleasurable moment without considering the side effects and the impacts of people around you that are going to be impacted by your decisions or inactions that you didn't take as one person. So yes, go ahead, have sex, enjoy it, but always remember that 1 second, 5 minutes of pleasure can cause consequences of lifetime, from one generation to another, to another, to another, to another, and can impact the lineage of God's promises. God is a redeemer. There is nothing under the sun that God can never redeem. However, because of free will, there's still consequences of our actions that we have to pay in one way or another. God is full of love. God is filled with love. And that's why some part of the Bible says, what was meant for evil, God turned it for good. And this is a part in my book, The Abundance of God's Love. I'm going to share the link in the description. And it talks about when Joseph was sold by his brothers as slaves. I know I'm trans. I don't know what's the word to use, but I am not on track. I'll come back to the track. So he says that I'm digressing. Yes, that is the word. I am digressing. So he said that what you meant for evil, God turned it for good. God does not make things evil because he's light. However, the devil appears and despises himself as the angel of light. So even after his brothers sold him to slavery, God turned that situation for his glory, and things changed for him for the best. However, that doesn't mean that was the necessary journey that God had for Joseph. We don't know. We can always use our imagination sometimes. So let's say Joseph could have been a king maybe in 5 years, 10 years. It took him maybe 20 years, 30 years because of one action of one person who did. And the same thing, God can be opening doors for you, for marriage, for career, for power, for influence. But then that one moment spoils everything. And remember, when God gives us gifts and talents, it's not for ourselves. It's for his people that are going to benefit from it. So let's say if I am called to a position of power, and here because of like maybe lack of self-awareness, because of maybe trauma, because of being hurt, because of pain, I am in this circle where I am sleeping with my friends' husbands, sleeping with everything that I see. And the more I'm doing that, it's taking time from me to achieve the goals that God has for me, to be in the position that God has for me, because I am lost in this lust. I am fighting battles that maybe nobody can understand. However, these strongholds, like this lust, also brings up strongholds. People end up having like addiction, sexual addiction, pornography addiction, all kinds of addictions. They are stronghold. All I can say is be gentle to yourself, nurture yourself, and take one step back before you think or before you act at that as an action, on that thought that you think, ooh, this person looks so hot, or ooh, I can't wait to get that in, to get it in, or ooh, I can't wait to get that in bed. Take a step and think the consequences of what you're about to do, who is going to impact, and the consequences that are going to come out of it. By all means, I am talking about being safe when it comes to sexual intercourse, because some of these things open up doors spiritually, because you do not know the kind of demons that possess that person you're about to get in or you're about to be intertwined with. And that's why you see sometimes when you are in a toxic relationship, or when you are with somebody who always cheats on you because they are sleeping with multiple people, you start being unhealthy. You start losing peace. You can't sleep properly because all those spirits are coming. You end up becoming skinny. You end up becoming not yourself because you're feeding all these other spiritual aspects of this person you are with. And this is one of the consequences that we should always think before we act. You are hurting your family. You are hurting your partner. You are hurting your children. You are hurting your parents. And everybody is going to come to join you in this, maybe in part of these consequences that you created as an individual. And my heart goes to every single person who has ever been sexually violated. You didn't deserve that, and you didn't call for it. It's not what you wore. It is simply somebody falling out from God and acting on their selfishness desires. And it has impacted you. From generation to generation, it has impacted your mental health. It has impacted your self. You don't even know who you are. Some can even bear children through this act without having the consent to say yes or no, without saying that I want to have a child. Some might even not know, be of age of thinking about contraception or even thinking about conception, how it happens. But somebody chooses to take that power from you. That should have never happened to you. You don't deserve that. But all I can say is my heart is bleeding for you. And if you're listening to this and this has happened to you, you are not alone. It has happened to so many people. Many people are dying inside because they can't talk about what's happening in their families, in their homes, in their communities. But God sees all this pain and He has you close to it. Right now, I might not know all the answers for you, but I know at the end, you will be fine. So don't give up. It's not the end of your life. It has happened, and there's hope, healing, and recovery. And I promise you, it is a long journey. It is a long journey. It's not going to be an overnight success thing. You're going to work on yourself. You're going to go through depression. You're going to go through anxiety. You're going to doubt. You're going to question yourself. But at the end of the day, God will see you through, and the life that He has for you, you will receive it. So I just want to finish this by saying, I see you. I feel you. I honor you, and God loves you. No matter what has happened to you, or no matter what decision you have made, or the consequences, God will still be able to use that situation, to use that scenario to His glory and to the betterness of yourself, your family, your generation, and everyone that surrounds you. May you be blessed until another episode. Bye.